Giganotosaurus. So in today's video, I will be speaking about Giga, one of the main trio from the Isle, being T-Rex, Spinosaurus and Giganotosaurus. I'll talk about when we may get this, of course it will be just speculation, what I think it will be like in the Isle based on its concept art, and what we might see from Legacy returning into Evrima, and what may actually be an improved version. I'll also touch up upon Deinocheirus, because there's not too much information about it for it to warrant its own video, but I would like to talk about it a little bit more since I absolutely love it and I can't wait for an actual apex omnivore. So without any more blabbering on, let's get right into it. We'll start off with looking into Giga's concept art, and as you can see here, it's already fighting a Kama. There will be a predator that hunts sauropods, and a common theme here as well, as you can see below here, it hunting a Shant, is that they're in a pair. So it might be the kind of apex that will prefer to be in a pair or hunting groups. Not any more than 3 I can probably see, but probably a good duo of Gigas will be something that you'll see a bit more. Rex, I would believe, would be a bit more of a solo kind of player, same as Spino as well. But you can definitely see that the Giganotosaurus loves to punch above its weight. Shunt is no joke, and neither is Kama. So working in a pair is probably the best way at defeating one of these. But at the same time, you can see a Giga fighting a Giga here. So maybe they're quite territorial, which is quite interesting to be fair. I mean, you can see them fighting together in 2 sections here, and then in another section they're fighting each other. I wonder why that is. You can see Giga's power is not going to be a joke. It being a take on a trike, which is another apex of course, and it just shredding it, eating its juicy meat. I do believe that if you're playing Giga, it's going to be a little bit like Omniraptor, but just on a humongous scale of course, because Giga is going to be the king of bleed, like it was in Legacy. They're probably going to play more bite and wait, kind of get your hits in, but you're not going to go in face tanking, even though you're going to be in Apex and you are going to be powerful for most of the roster to be able to even try to take you on. Fighting other Apexes, I think Giga might be one of the weaker Apexes. And I don't mean in the sense that it's going to be pathetic against a T-Rex or even against a Spino. I do think it'll be able to hold its own, but I think it's going to be one of those that you're going to have to really play right. Rex is going to be a little bit easier to play in a sense that it has that brute strength and that incredible bite. You kind of don't need to be as skilled. Now you will need skill of course to play it and to play it well, but there's going to be more room for error, right? With Giga I feel like you are going to have to play a lot smarter with it and actually really learn how to play it properly, not just go in face tanking other apexes, but actually get in there, get those bites in, give that incredible bleed, and depending on the situation or maybe the placement on the map that you're in fighting, whatever you're fighting will depend on how that goes as well. You might want to stalk, as you can see of course in this image here. You got Stego. Why is the Giga not just running in there? It's letting the Omnis do some of the work whilst it stalks in the bushes, waiting for the Stego to get a bit weaker. It's going to go in there and the Omnis, they're not going to stand a chance against a Giga, but the Stego is going to be able to do some serious damage if not kill a Giga, because it's an apex itself. So again, this kind of shows off that even though it's an apex, you do have to play it smart. At least that's what I see from this. I might be wrong of course. It is a behemoth, and it's definitely something that I hope brings some love from Legacy. It was the fastest trotter. Do correct me if I'm wrong, it may have been Acro, but Giga was, if not the second, the first fastest. Either way it was fast, right, at walking. So I'm presuming that's going to come back. It's got its long legs like a model and it's not afraid to show it off, so it's going to get around the map I think fairly easily. I'm not saying it's going to run everywhere, but walking wise you're probably going to traverse the map a lot quicker than some of the other apexes, which of course again comes back to its stalking ability, being able to kind of walk its prey down like it used to in Legacy. The amount of times that I was, let's say, one side of the map and I would go almost half across the map and this bastard is still following me because he just knows they can outwalk me, so it kind of makes me have to waste my stam, because if I don't run a little he's going to catch up to me, as let's say I might have been a Diabloceratops. So it just outwalks me, and to the point where I'm like, okay, I always have to just try my best to fight it and most likely lose, or I'm just going to be out of stam and I'm just going to die to it anyway, you know. And stam is even more important in Evrima, so I do think it's going to be for the smart players or for the players that really want to give a dino a go and really main it and learn it. I think Giga is going to be what's going to get that niche. It's going to be that sly power that you have in Evrima will go to Giga. I'll be quite surprised if not. They do seem to have made it a bit more beefier looking compared to Legacy as well, which I kind of like. I like that it has a bit more of a spikiness to it around the neck on the top, that's a bit more prominent with the facial structure. I actually think it's really cool. I don't personally complain about the Giga. I think it looks fantastic. I really like what they've done with this, and even the model, as you can see here, it looks really good. So we already know that it's gonna look a lot more like the concept art. And Giga, to be honest with you, I do think it's something that's gonna be quite good for the roster. Maybe not right now, as we still need some more mid-tiers in my opinion, even after T-Rex comes out, or may already be out in horde test, I don't know, at the time of recording. As per usual, I feel like I'm saying this every bloody video now, become a damn running joke. But yeah, Rex is not in horde test yet, could be any day now, as I've been saying for 5 years, I swear to God. But yeah, we definitely need some more mid-tiers before we start seeing some more Apexes coming anyway. A Giga would be great, especially once we already have some Apexes in-game and some more mid-tiers, simply because it's going to give us that diversity. Like, they are making each playable quite unique, which is why it's also taking time. They don't want to just make it copy and paste, kind of like it was in Legacy. Like, yes, there were some differences between most playables, but realistically speaking, there wasn't that much difference. In Evrima, it's completely a different game. And with the stalking ability, it might bring back more solo players, or kind of how it shows in the concept, maybe once stuff like Kama's out, whether that will be before or after Giga, probably before, because again, that's something they've spoken about a bit more in the IO Discord actually. Then yeah, you might see a good duo. Who do you guys think would win in a fight, T-Rex or Giga? And do you think it'll be quite even, or do you think it'll be, let's say, 60% of the time Rex and 40% of the time Giga? I kind of even think might be 70-30, Rex winning 70% of the time, Giga winning 30% of the time. Of course, it's always down to skill as well, even location, and there's so many more factors into the play, but if they're both in the evenly matched space, Rex will probably win most of the time. But that's why you might see a bit more Gigas play together, and because they have that walking speed on them, it might be easier for them to generally actually just traverse and find food a lot quicker. That's of course if they bring that back into Evrima, it having the good walking speed. And when do I think we might get this big boy? Well, of course, this is going to be just a guess, so do not take this as, oh, it's going to be coming here. And I know already we're going to see jokes in the comment section of it coming in 2030 or 2040, you know, like it very well may be, who knows. But they have started showing a little bit more about Giga, not too much to really warrant like, oh yes, it's coming soon, but a little bit more than some other playables. We do know from what the devs have said that Spinosaurus will be the next Apex after Rex, once of course all the other mid-tiers have come out that they've already promised us. So whatever the next Apex is, so that might very well be next year, late next year, but most likely gonna be the year after. I think we'll see Spino. I'd love to see it next year, of course. It's my favorite playable, it's my favorite dinosaur, so I'd love to see it tomorrow realistically. But knowing what the IO's like, we've taken the time, but actually making some really great progress recently, I gotta say, Spino will probably come then, which means obviously Giga might come after that. So as sucky as it might sound, Giga will probably be another 3 years, unless something really happens in the development. Then yeah, probably gonna be about a 3-year thing. But I can imagine it being the Apex that comes after Spino, excluding Quetz, because I do believe Quetz will actually come out probably around the same time as Spino will. But what about you guys? When do you think, jokes aside, when do you realistically think we're gonna see something like Giganotosaurus come into the aisle? But that's enough about Giga, and now let's talk a little bit about Deinocheirus. Deinocheirus has actually been something I've been really looking forward to ever since I found out about it coming into the game. I didn't really know much about this guy until Evrima, to be honest with you. It kind of made me fall in love. To me, it's almost like a vegan Spinosaurus, because it obviously has the hump on the back, it has the giant claws, it's gonna utilize its arms. It's actually gonna be an omnivore, so technically not quite vegan. This is gonna be the first, and I think only omnivore Apex we're gonna have in the game. But yeah, for me, simply, it's just the sheer power that Deinocheirus seems like it's gonna have. I do think it's going to be quite a slow playable, not going to be too quick, but I think it would even take on a Spino in the sense that I think it'll be able to actually be better than a Spino in terms of brute force. It does at least kind of look like it. It does look a lot more stocky. I mean, even its arms and hands, or fingers should I say, or claws even, should I say, look a lot more beefier than a Spino. I think when it comes to grappling battle, like you actually see in the concept art of Spino, which is over here, I do believe that Deinocheirus will probably win that. Spino would have to be a bit more careful around it, but of course Spino will probably be a lot quicker with getting away or moving around. Agility, let's say, right? But the interesting thing with Deinocheirus, of course, it is semi-aquatic, which of course makes it a contender for everything. Whilst it's going to be growing, it's going to have a great fun time fighting off Sucos, like you see in the concept art here. Other dinos, of course. It'll be able to burrow, or shall I say dig, in the water to find perhaps other crabs and other little AIs they might introduce, which I absolutely love the idea. Another really interesting thing, of course, if you guys don't know, at least by the looks of the concept art, it will be able to walk walk normally, or maybe it'll just be quicker in mud. As you can see, that Alberto here is not having a good time, and the Deinocheirus is looking at it like, do I or don't I? What should I do? I will definitely be doing it. I'll be saying good night to the Alberto. But Deinocheirus seems like it's going to be able to traverse. Also sharpening its claws. I presume it's going to be something that it's going to do due to this concept art as well, which I think also Baryonyx, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Barry will also be able to do that. And I presume that's going to be down to the more sharper your claws are, the higher the bleed you're going to give, which we'll see how that actually works in game if it's implemented well enough. And then back to the Suko here. As you can see, it's absolutely demolishing the Suko. It will be something that will be fighting other apexes as well as other big mid tiers. Quite a territorial individual by the looks of it too. It has its young to look after all. And even going back to the digging, maybe that's even what it is. Maybe it's something that when you're small, you might be a lot more vulnerable than even other playables as a Deinocheirus, and you might want to be nested in, let's say, and looked after by your parents. But this guy, unfortunately, I don't think we'll see for quite a while. I think it'll be a very long time that we'll see it. I'll be surprised if we see it before the 4-year mark from now, which all sounds a bit depressing, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, I personally am having fun in the Isle. I'm not too keen on there just being so many playables now, as long as the game's good and the ping is good, which, to be fair, I know a lot of people complain about it too, and it can be terrible a lot of times, but at least recently, for me, it has been pretty good to play. It's been pretty smooth. Of course, there's hiccups here and there, but every game will have hiccups that are online. But you gotta admit it, they have been smashing it. The game has been running a lot smoother than it has for a while. Horde tests we won't talk about because, of course, there's more stuff that they do in Horde tests, hence why it also always runs a little bit worse than your main branch. But yeah, enough blubbering on. That's it about Giganotosaurus and about Deinocheirus. Let me know which one you would prefer to see first. And apart from that, you guys have a great day and peace.